Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could be with us. Also, tuning into our online affiliates around the world, including our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcasts. We're glad you all could be with us as well. This is part of our For-Your Health segment today here for WYAD. An estimated 41% of U.S. adults delayed or avoided medical care during the pandemic, including routine cancer screenings. Well, unfortunately, the rates of people getting these tests hasn't returned to where it should be. In fact, experts have predicted that delays in cancer screening tests will result in an excess of 10,000 deaths from breast and colorectal cancer alone. Here to talk to us about the importance of not delaying cancer treatment and routine cancer screening, we're excited to welcome Dr. Lisa Richardson to our program, the director of the CDC's Division of Cancer Prevention and Control, as well as April Donaldson, who was diagnosed and treated for cancer during the height of the pandemic. Thanks to the two of you for the time. Really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having us.
So, Dr. Richardson, I want to begin with you. How has the pandemic impacted cancer?
Well, the largest impact we've noted has been a decrease in the screening numbers that you described earlier. People at the beginning of the pandemic, screening just dropped by 80 to 90%. And though it's come back up, it still has not come back up to where it was before the pandemic began almost 2 years ago. As far as treatments are concerned, they continued. But as you know, with fewer screenings, there have been fewer cancers diagnosed, but those who have been diagnosed have gotten into care and have been treated effectively. So that's been the largest impact.
April, I appreciate you sharing a bit of your story with us. Tell us how the pandemic impacted you and your treatment for cancer.
Well, it felt a little bit like trying to battle two monsters at the same time, and I couldn't choose to ignore one while I fought the other one. Yes, COVID is more deadly for patients who have a lowered immune system, but so is cancer when it's left untreated. And I know that personally because I lost my mother to cancer when she was only 47. So when I was diagnosed, I was determined to do everything that I could to be here for my family in spite of being afraid of going through treatment during a pandemic. However, once I started going to my appointments, a lot of my fears were relieved because the doctors and hospitals were taking so many extra precautions to keep patients safe. Not only were they masking and doing temperature checks, but they were going the extra mile of making sure that waiting rooms weren't crowded and providing telehealth appointments when possible. I'm so thankful that I didn't wait to get my screening because I actually had a normal mammogram in October of 2019. And then just 3 short months later, in February of 2020, I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer with 3 large lumps in my breast. So if I had waited, I possibly would not be here today.
Well, again, I appreciate you being able to share your story with us here, April. Dr. Richardson, why is it important then? We hear so much about cancer screenings. Why is it so important for us to be able to get those screenings, both men and women?
So cancer screenings are to find cancers before they become symptomatic. Once you develop symptoms, you go into another phase as far as your risk of doing well after you're diagnosed. And the other thing is like for colon cancer and cervical cancer, if you're screened for those and we find problems that might become cancer, we can remove those and the cancer will never develop. So that's actually prevention of the cancer. So that's why it's so important, because once you go into the next phase of feeling a lump or having symptoms, it just puts you in another category and it's more difficult to treat the cancer.
So, Dr. Richardson, if someone is going through cancer treatment now or scheduled for their routine mammogram, is it safe for them to go into the hospital right now? I mean, we're hearing so much about, things that are elective and elective surgeries and other things that people should consider, before going to the hospital because of the pandemic. Is it a good time still? People may ask and wonder for themselves to go in for those.
No, I think it's absolutely a good idea to go in for care. As April said earlier, clinics and hospitals have put in procedures for disinfecting, for masks, dressing and gowns and those types of things to prevent the spread. Cancer is still going to be there whether you get in, go in for your screenings or not. And you really do want to find it early so that you can have a higher opportunity to be cured and live longer and take care of your family and all of those things that you really want to do with your life.
Wow. That is so good to know. And April, last question for you. What advice do you have for our audience out there, someone who has been diagnosed with cancer or maybe going through the treatment now?
Well, first of all, I would like to stress the importance of not delaying getting your screenings done. There's a huge myth out there that cancer is mostly genetic. And a lot of people feel like if no one in my family has had it, then I'm not going to get it. And that's absolutely not true. Also, know your body, listen to your body, and if you're having any type of symptoms, reach out to your healthcare provider and be your own advocate. Make sure you're getting your vaccinations, even if you are going through treatment. I myself have had both the flu vaccine and all of my COVID vaccinations as well. So when I did get COVID this year, my symptoms were a lot less severe, thankfully. And most importantly, make all of your health decisions based off of facts and faith, not fear. And go to preventcancerinfection.org for more tips and resources for how to stay safe during your treatment.
Well, love that. Thank you again, April. Really appreciate that. Dr. Richardson, I want to give you the last word here. Anything you'd like to add? Or April just mentioned the website. What can our audience find at that website?
Well, you can also find information about Get Screened for Cancer. There's a PSA there, and also a cancer screening guide, what you said earlier about men and women knowing what to do and how to do it and when to do it. All that information is in that guide that you can find at preventcancerinfection.org.
Love that. Again, everyone, we've been joined by Dr. Lisa Richardson as well as April Donaldson talking with us not only about the importance of making sure you all are getting your cancer screenings, but also not neglecting your treatment as well. Thanks to the two of you again for the time. Really appreciate you stopping by and looking forward to having you back on the program again.
Thank you.
More than welcome. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live, part of our News You Can Use segment here at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.